If you need some inspiration or just want good company, whatever you are looking for, you'll find it here indeed, in meaningful mornings. Meaningful mornings. Meaningful mornings.
Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. With so many people dying from COVID-19, nations are scrambling to procure vaccinations. And I had read the European Union, most of the countries located in Europe, they've procured 2.7 times the number of vaccinations over their population. 2.7 times. And if you go south to the African Union, most of the countries in the continent of Africa, they've procured 0.38 times of their population, only 38% versus 270%. Without the vision of oneness, every country, every citizen, their default, they will revert to selfishness. And this is a strong expression of that these lives are worth more than these lives. You can say that only on a quantity level, never at a quality level. And that's what our focus is in Meaningful Mornings, this workshop, to dismantle this thirst, this lust for quantity, and to hold on to quality in every which way. Scene 3 of Bhagavad Gita ends where we come to understand and appreciate the Kauravas. They have a lot of noise in their heads. This is caused by being irresponsible and vicious. They try to create noise outside, but the Pandavas are more energetic, more enthusiastic. So now the Kauravas have more noise in their hearts too. Instead of being less fearful, now they're more fearful. And philosophically, I've been sharing a lot of insights into teachings, Shruti, Kanch. This is the expression of grace. The source of grace is God, is the divine. The expression of that is guidance, Kanch, Shruti, teachings. And if you follow this, you will rediscover your greatness, that you are the greatest of all time. We commence scene 4. Begins happy, but ends sad. Like our lives, like our mornings too. So you're clear. the main personality in scene 1, Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra is fairly useless. Scene 2, Duryodhana. Scene 3, Acharya Bhishma. Scene 4, Prince Arjuna. We already got to see his chariot. What happened? Chapter 1, verse 20. Atha vyavastitan drishtva dhartarashtran kapidhvajaha pravritte shastra sampate dhanur udyamya pandavaha. Atha. Atha means therefore. And they use that word a lot in Indian TV serials, right? Atha, and then the scene begins. Vyavastitan drishtva dhartarashtran. Having seen the assembly, the readiness of Dhartarashtran, that is, the Kauravas. Some commentators have shared that the Kauravas should have retreated, but they didn't. It wasn't a flight, it was a fight. And who saw that? Kapidhvajaha, the one whose chariot's flag has a monkey on it. And who is that? That is Prince Arjuna's chariot, and that is Hanumanji on his flag. A few insights about this. Thus far, the following personalities are being taught Bhagavad Gita. We all know Prince Arjuna, right? That's on the cover of your book. Then who else? Sanjaya. We know that too. He's the one who's the voice of Bhagavad Gita. Number 3, who is he speaking to? Dhritarashtra was also taught Bhagavad Gita. And now number 4, Hanumanji. What this shows is Hanumanji, he is not inert. Wherever there is an icon of Hanumanji, that is sentient. And so he's alive on this flag. And he's listening to Sri Krishna, though he doesn't need to. He is Hanumanji. But still, what does he love to listen to the most? The stories and glories of Sri Rama, Sri Krishna. We can internalize this. Hanumanji is an icon for tapa and shraddha. This is why at the beginning of our classes I say, invoke toughness. The Sanskrit word for that is tapa. And the tougher you become, the more you evoke hope. That is the word for shraddha or faith. And Swami Tejomayananda shared, wherever Hanumanji is, naturally victory is there too. And if you think of your personality and your challenges, if you're tough and faithful, you too will be Vijaya. You will win over yourself. Pravritte Shastra Sampate. The Kauravas were ready. Weapons in hand, ready to begin, ready to fight. And this shows the extent of their training. That even that fear, they can overcome it by adrenaline or by this circumstance. Dhanur Udyamya Pandavaha. This Pandava is Prince Arjuna, and he picks up his bow. This is an important point. He is about to speak, and to speak, what does he do? He picks up his bow. It's like you're talking to someone in your house and you pick up a mic. Let's get ready for school. What this shows is that he's confident. He wasn't sulking. He didn't just speak to Sri Krishna. He picked up his bow because he knew all eyes were on him. The people who loved him, the Pandavas, the people who hated him, the Kauravas, everyone was looking at him. His bow's name, for your reference, is Gandiva. As we continue to study Bhagavad Gita, maybe you should start naming your things, like your laptop, your keyboard, your pillow. These are what we use the most, correct? So the main point here is that the Kauravas are not retreating. They're ready. And Prince Arjuna obviously is not retreating. He is confident until we've now completed 20 verses of Bhagavad Gita. I know you're listening to this, that is Shravana. Are you reflecting on this too? That is Manana. The completion of listening is a natural progression to reflecting. And so I'm going to introduce to all of you an active listening test right now. We're going to spread this out over 3 days to respect your time. I'm going to begin now. You rate yourself. Here's question number 1. 1 is low, 10 is high. Question 1. You focus on and identify with the other person. How do you rate yourself on that? 1 is low, 10 is high. I'll read it one more time. Focus on and identify with the other person. Question 2. You pause and suspend your own thoughts and feelings. You pause and suspend your own thoughts and feelings. Number 3, you enter into the other's world. You enter into the other's world. Number 4, you become completely present to the person. You become completely present to the person. And the last question for today. This test has 15 questions. We'll do 5 each morning. You suspend judgments and criticism. You suspend judgment and criticism. I'm not concerned about your score. This is for yourself. I have to go through the chat and there's going to be 300 responses. Keep engaging in Shravana so that Bhagavad Gita becomes your life story. If we're not active listeners, this will continue to be history for us rather than our autobiography. From inspiration to application, yesterday I asked you to rate yourself before this test on being an active listener. 1 is awful, 100 is awesome. You don't have to share right now. That was only for you to have your own reference, but now there's a systematic way for you to clarify, to validate that reference. Your application will continue about reflecting on how active of a listener you are. How well do you engage in Shravana? From application to announcements, for those who were unable to catch the details, the workshop that Chinmay Mission Portland is organizing, this is on their website, Integrating Gita, This will be very useful for us to go from Shravana to Manana, from listening to reflecting. And you can register with their center, March 17th to the 20th in the evenings. They're on the West Coast, so make sure you note that time. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.